guys, you ready for week 2? Week 2, choose a name. I am often surprised by the nasty names my clients call themselves, like stupid or worthless. Here's a chance to change that. Choose a name for your inner self. It could be a childhood nickname, your own name with little in front of it, or something someone once called you that made you feel special. Be careful not to choose a name that doesn't feel good to you. Repeat the name often until it becomes second nature. My name for myself is Pumpkin because a dear friend calls me that. What is yours? I call my inner self. Well, I know that it's asking me to pick something that made me feel special, but I'm going to take advantage of this exercise, and I'm going to call my inner self Lilu for now, and that's because I had an ex that used to call me Lilu, and it wasn't a situation that was great. We actually ended up parting of ways. I won't get into the details of things just because, it might be triggering for some people, and I don't want that. But it is a reminder of what I went through, and it's a reminder of what I overcame. And so I think that my inner self is pretty strong these days. For the most part, I do get moments where I'm kind of like pulled back into a situation, but it's all a process. So I'm going to call my inner self Lilu. And it says, what do you think of when you call yourself by this name? By all means, when we ask the question, go ahead and pause the screen until you have an answer. Give it some real good thought. Or you can go with the first thought that comes and write it down if you don't have the book, okay? And on that note, in case this is your first week with me, we're doing 52 weeks of better mental health. And it's by Tina Messina. And then here's the what is it called? The ISBN number, in case you want to get that information. I found this one at Barnes & Noble for a hot $3, right? And on another note, I am not a licensed therapist. I'm hoping that we're just doing this as like a book club. Like we're just a bunch of friends that are getting together, supporting each other, and trying to make life better, right? Okay, so back to our story, or our workbook. What do you think of when you call yourself this name? And I think I've already shared mine. And please feel free, if you're comfortable, to share your names and how you feel, the answers to your questions down in the comments. Maybe everybody can give some feedback to one another and some support. You never know what we might find here in our community. All right, so what do you think of when you call yourself by this name? And as I said, I feel like, it reminds me of where I've been, what I've gone through, where I've come. And honestly, when that person used to call me that, it did feel good. It was a nice name. It was something that was kind of heartwarming at the time. You know what I mean? So it has positives. And that's the thing. We can choose how we look at things in our lives, whether we're going to let it drag us down or are we going to focus on the positive aspects of those things. There is always a positive that comes out generally in every situation. Like, for example, I was just on the phone with someone and they said, you know what? I was at the beach and someone opened their car door into my car and there's a big old ding in it, so I wanted to go get it taken care of today. And I had asked, did they leave a note or anything? And he says, no, I actually heard it happen and I saw them and it was a young family, and they had their hands full. So no, they didn't leave a note, and no, I didn't get upset about it because it's like, you know what? Let's give each other some grace. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. Right? That's really nice. I know, totally off topic, but just the point of the matter that anything can be a positive situation. I fully believe that we run into certain situations in our lives to see, or test us to see which way we're going to respond in that matter, in that case. And in his case, He wanted to give the person grace, and I'm pretty certain that he's going to get blessed behind that in some regard. Because it's really not a big deal if you, in the bigger scheme of things. It is just a car, and he can get it fixed. So that's always nice, right? All right, so the next prompt. Write a short letter or note to yourself using your chosen name and describing the friendship you would like to have with yourself. The quote at the bottom of the book says, "A name represents identity, a deep feeling, and holds tremendous significance to its owner." Describing a friendship you'd like to have with yourself. Again, this would be where you'd want to pause the video if you want to give it some thought for yourself and write yourself a note. I'm going to share, my note would be, the friendship I would like to have with myself is to be someone who actually is there for myself. To stand strong in my beliefs and support those beliefs. To choose things that are beneficial and healthy for myself, as far as food choice, as far as scheduling, as far as, going to sleep and waking up at good times. And I would like to be the type of friend that would support myself in that. I would go out shopping by myself. I would probably have inside conversations with myself about, oh, isn't that cute? Or maybe I shouldn't buy that. Or do you really need that? Just be that support to myself. And with going back to our lesson from last week, I would also have to say compliments to myself. Like, that was really nice of you to open the door for that person. Or that was really kind of you or thoughtful for you to make that comment towards that person that was having not such a great day, right? I don't know. So I would like to be an advocate for myself. Next prompt. How does it feel to give yourself an affectionate name? I don't know. I don't really have much of a feeling about it, considering when you post or when you make an account, you have to give your channels a name, right? So maybe I'm just used to it. And it's not really one that I gave myself. It's kind of one that I borrowed or used from someone else. So maybe that's part of it. But I'd like to know how it makes you feel to give yourself an affectionate name. All right, next prompt. Write yourself a brief note every day, either here or on a sticky note, using your affectionate nickname. For example, Dear Pumpkin, have fun today. Oh, well, that's a nice little note, right? I guess I would say, Lilu, I know you can do it. Lilu, wear what you want to and have a blast with it. And I'm making that reference because the person that actually gave me that name used to always say, oh, you're just doing too much when it came to what I was wearing. But you know what? Instead of that, memory of that, I'm going to say, Lilu, wear what you want. It's going to look great on you. You see how that works? We're repairing old memories now. Lilu, you look great. All right, so now it's having us do a reflection on week number 1 and week number 2. What surprised you about yourself the past 2 weeks? What surprised me? Well, what surprised me about myself the last 2 weeks is that I was able to do week 1 and week 2 of this book. Quite honestly, I have been the type of person in the past who will do it for like a few days and then would give up and not do it anymore. I was doing a nightly journal where I would go through and say the things that had happened for the day. I would write you know, the 3 challenges that I would have had that day, and then 3 positives of that day. And usually it seemed like the challenges, there was a positive in the challenge, and so I was able to just easily find that. And then it would say, I would say what kinds of things I wanted to work on for that day. And I did a good, probably 2-3 weeks of that journal. And so I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself. I did jump off the wagon on it, but I'm going to bring that back up tonight. So that's all right. We can stop things and come right back to it, and we don't have to judge ourselves for that. We don't need to do that. So I would say that it surprised me so far is that I've come back and did this yet another week. What has surprised me the last 2 weeks? I'd have to say that I had a bunch of things in my hands at Barnes & Noble that were of good price, and then I really kind of thought about it, like, you know, are you going to actually use these things? You've got other books that you've been wanting to use and you haven't used them yet. So I would have to say that me putting those things down, even though they were at a good price, and it's possible that they're not going to be there when I come back for them, if I should decide to come back for them, I think just letting it go and realizing that if they're not there, it wasn't meant for me. It wasn't meant for me to have those things. And so I do have other things that I can use to replace those things instead. So I'm okay with that. Prompt number 2. Did you learn something new? Something new. Well, you might want to pause the video because I'm having a hard time if I learn something new. Well, I guess I'll do that on my own time and come up with something. I know I probably have, and I just can't recollect right now. All right, the 3rd prompt. Can you put your new awareness into action? Right? I sure can. I can use that as my nice note to myself. The note that says, good job, you did it. Put a little sticky note in my mind. Lilu, you wear that outfit. You wear whatever you want. It's going to be cute. Anywho, thanks for being here. And I hope this helped. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.